Hey guys, congratulations. I know I've said that on the last video and a video before that, but I mean it. It's time for you to start recognizing that life is just one big opportunity to grow and expand and congratulate yourself, right? It's all about recognizing what you're doing great. Remember, nobody's putting a gun to your head. You're not in prison. You're not in some boot camp where you have to do it. You are doing it because you're super intelligent. You have high PQ, performance quotient, high GQ, growth quotient, right? Again, you're the few who do versus the many who talk. And I'm so proud of you. And one of the things you're doing by logging on every day, regardless to how you're feeling, regardless to your deception sneaking up telling you to quit the program, regardless of all of those things, you are building that focus muscle. You're building that new identity. And I'm going to talk a lot about that today, and I want you to really, really pay attention to what I'm talking to, because this is the most important week. This is when we're now in transformation solid. We're moving into transformation. This is when the program is going to start turning into a massive benefit. This is where the new habits are starting to take shape. And now you're starting to build them and grow them and make them stronger. And you'll be able to ride those habits like people ride a beautiful horse. They'll take you to success. And the beautiful thing about it is when a habit is established, it's hard to break it. A lot of times we only think about hard to break when it comes to a bad habit. No, your good habits are the same way. You don't feel like working out, you're going to work out. You don't feel like following through, you're going to follow through. You don't feel like working on your business, you're going to work on your business because it's your identity. But it starts right now in this phase. And disciplined imagination. But first, remember how you got here. You went through vision. Vision is so important. Knowing who you want to be, what you want to have, right? Creating it consciously, having the courage to recognize I have to create the target so that I know where I'm going and what I want. And you did that beautifully. Then you started saying, well, I had these old habits that belong to old visions. I need to break them. I need to identify my emotional patterns, my mental patterns, my physical patterns. And you did that. Then it was like, okay, now I need to build new habits. Well, wait a minute, I've been building new habits since day one. That's right. But now I'm intentional. I'm even being way more intentional. I'm way into the program now, and I'm feeling different. My habits are starting to take hold. I'm starting to feel a new energy. Absolutely, that's where you are. Now you're going to even go to a deeper level. You're going to focus it. And focus is like taking the sun and magnifying it, right? Making it really hot towards what you want versus what you don't want. And I want you to recognize that, what you want versus what you don't want. If you don't know how to control your focus, then when urgency happens or chaos happens or uncertainty happens, you will focus on what you don't want versus what you want. This is so many things we're building in this program, so many magnificent habits, so many beautiful habits, and so many beautiful psychologies that are looking at me right now that's going to serve you for the rest of your life. And you know what? And you want to know what I'm most excited about? Is that you're going to go out and tell other people about this gift that was offered to you by the founders of this organization. So the laws of focus, understanding focus is everything. And that's where we are right now. So think about this, guys. At all times, we're in one of three areas of our mind. We're in imagination, memory, or focus. If you're thinking about what you're going to do tomorrow, if your mind drifts off to someplace, or if you just all of a sudden a random thought pops in your head, or music comes on and your mind goes that way, but you don't want it to, that's imagination. Imagination needs to be disciplined. If I say something and it causes you to think back in the past, if something happens and you start thinking about where you came from or how it used to be, or these memories pop in your mind, or you only live on references, that's memory. If you're focused on what I'm saying right now, if you're focused on where you're going, who you are right now, the space here and now, that's focus, and that's where power lives. That's when you're using all of your capability. That's when you're utilizing you. This is when you're developing that better mind, better body. It's all around focus. We love people who help us get focused. We love organizations that support us in being focused. We love friends that really create leverage around us to be focused. And that's what I want to do for you, and that's what you're doing for me. We're creating focus. We're creating power. We're recognizing that that focus is going to grow and go to the next level. And we realize that focus is an exercise that I have to practice on a daily basis. Now, what are some ways of really understanding how to discipline that mind? I remember when I was sitting with Grandmaster Junri in his house one time, and he was saying some really amazing things to me. And I started shaking my leg. And by the way, Grandmaster Junri was one of my mentors. He brought Taekwondo to this country. He taught Bruce Lee his kick and Muhammad Ali his punch. And I remember just listening to him in his basement, and my leg was shaking. And he hit my leg. He goes, "Do you want to do that?" And I'm like, "Well, no." "Oh, yeah." "Well, no." I didn't know what to say. He said, "Until you can control your body, you won't be able to control your mind." I thought, that's interesting. So he goes, "Sit down, don't move, don't scratch, don't just sit down, don't move, and just look at the wall, right? Just sit there and decide not to move your body for a minute." Guys, a minute was a long time. I was massively undisciplined physically. A lot of us in our lives are that way. We don't move our bodies. We eat the wrong things. We are undisciplined in our physical body. Now, it doesn't mean that that's wrong to be. It just simply means that my body needs training. So then little by little, I started just working on my body every day, just sitting for a little bit longer because I told my body to do it. Watching what I put into my system, not trying to be perfect, but understanding that discipline, that focus on a physical level. Then he said, "I want you to now focus on your mental level. Hold a pencil in your hand and only think about that pencil. Don't think about anything else." Guys, you think holding your body still was hard? It was incredible, the things that jumped in my mind. I thought I was in control. I wasn't. And I remember saying to Grandmaster, "What's wrong with me?" "Nothing. You're playing with genius. You're playing with God stuff. You're playing with incredible capability. You have to train it. You have to train it. Just like you have if you had a wolf at home that was a puppy and you didn't train it, but you loved it, well, you're going to have to train it. It might be a little bit harder than how it is grown, but it's absolutely possible through love and consistency. And that's what you need to do. And then third, he said, "I want you now to visualize, and I want you to create, I want you to control that imagination. I want you to make the picture in your mind bigger and brighter and vivid and put motion in it," right? Now, again, I'm jumping way ahead of how quickly we moved, but this was over years that I learned how to discipline my imagination and really take that focus. And that's all focus is, right? Focus was on a physical level, a mental level, and utilizing my imagination at the highest level. I learned how to bring all of those energies together and create something magnificent, right? And that's this great company, this great group of people I have around me that I'm so grateful for. All of the advisors and coaches and trainers you see, that's part of this whole opportunity and decision to just continue to grow and push myself. I'm way better than I was last year, and I'll be way better next year, right? Because I learned how to focus. You think about some of the people in your organization. I had a chance to hang out with my friend Robbie Fender in all of his homes, and he has a lot of them, and every morning he has the same routine, folks. The success is not lucky. The same routine. First thing that puts in his mind, he and Kimmy in their conversation every morning around growth, their visions and where they're going. Every single morning, he's feeding his mind. He's disciplining his imagination. And I love that. I love when I see the example of possibility. I love when we teach something and we meet somebody and they're doing it, even at a higher level. So I'm going to say to you, it's all around us. And you've already started with this program. You started disciplining your imagination. You're focused and you're doing a beautiful job. Now what you got to do is you got to start thinking about outcomes, right? So anything you do, any actions that you're going to take, you got to think, what's the outcome? What's the outcome of this communication? What's the outcome of this meeting? What's the outcome of this talk? What's the outcome of this argument? And look at the outcome before you open your mouth, before you take any action. Give your focus, your mind, a target, and it will support you in disciplining even your emotions towards where you want to go. Know your outcome. Know it. Focus only on that. You know, I was watching Tiger Woods many years ago, and in the prime of his career, and he said something that I think a lot of people missed, and I picked up on it. He said, a lot of people confuse the goal and the reward. So I use outcome, he used goal, same thing. And a reporter said, what do you mean? He goes, well, when I get up on the first tee, right? And for you non-golf golfers, that's where you tee the ball off, right? If it's a par 4, that means you are even par if you get the ball in the hole with 4 strokes. And that's good, okay? If you get an under 4 strokes, that's called a birdie. Under 3 strokes, that's called an eagle, and so on. So he said most people will get up and say, my goal is to birdie the hole or par the hole. And he goes, that is wrong. And the announcer said, what do you mean? He goes, well, no, the goal is on the first tee to put the ball exactly in the fairway where you want to put it. You have to be intentional. You have to know your outcome. That's more immediate. And so he would only focus and think about that. He would hit the ball to that spot. He would then celebrate it. If he didn't hit the ball to that spot, he would then celebrate it as he did it, even though he didn't. He would first gripe and be upset because he couldn't help that. But then he would stop, calm down, and he would visualize the shot like he was supposed to hit it. Because the unconscious mind does not know the difference between what is real and what is consistently and vividly imagined. So he would then, let's say he hit it in the right spot. He would get to the ball, and then he would visualize the outcome of putting the ball on the green in a certain spot. That's all he thought about. He didn't care about anything else. And he trained his mind to be this way. He would then hit the ball, it will land on the green in that spot. He would get to the ball, and then he would look at the hole and say, I want to roll the ball into the hole this way. No emotions about the trophy, about the $1 million he was about to win, about all of the people that said you're the greatest, about being number 1. None of that. None of that. He would then just visualize and focus on the outcome, and he would roll the ball in. Once the ball went in, he would almost act surprised. And you would see this guy celebrate because he was celebrating the reward, not the goal. Okay? And I want all of you to get this. The goal is not for you to be a millionaire and have a perfect body and have everybody say, look at all of the weight you lost. You look amazing. And go to your high school reunion and go, I'm the hottest one here. That's the reward, right? That's the reward. The goal is to follow through on the program. The goal is to get to the next day. The goal is to use the product consistently that day. The goal is to bounce back when you fall very quickly, to magnify rebound. That's the goal. The goal is go day to day, making it a boring habit of fulfillment. The rewards will come, and they will come beautifully. And when they do, we'll celebrate them, but we don't celebrate until the reward happens. We don't celebrate before. Now, why? Because Tiger explained it. Because the golfer will get up on the first tee, think about the birdie, and then say, if I birdie this hole, I win the championship. I win my first championship. I win my first golf tournament. I'm going to make this money. My wife is going to be so proud. People are going to cheer my name. And they get excited because they didn't do it yet. They've never done it. And then all of a sudden they say, what if I don't? What if I don't? I'm going to lose all of those things that I don't even have yet. And then they start focusing on what they don't want. I don't want to miss it. I don't want to not hit the green. I don't want to not be in the fairway. I don't want to, all of a sudden the knots come. I don't want to not do this. I don't want to not be fat. I don't want to not be broke. I don't want to not be lonely. I don't want to not, and all of this because you're focused on the reward versus who you're becoming by focusing on the goal, on the outcomes. So this program is designed for that. It's designed to teach you that mastery, the mature, the real super fulfilled achievers in life focus on the next thing. And they find fulfillment in mastering the thing that's right in front of you. And they recognize that the reward has to come. You don't have to think about it. It's called a reward for absolutely being amazing at focusing on your outcomes. You focus on your outcomes, the reward happens. I focus on being healthy, I get muscles. I focus on being a good leader, I get a magnificent team that you see around you. I focus on being the best that I can, I attract a company like this and get an opportunity to lead, influence, and support you in growing and going to the next level. That's what focus is, my friends, and that's what this is all about. This is all about growing that focus muscle, being disciplined, recognizing that life is this beautiful journey that every day I can get more and more. I want you to recognize this and hear me. This world is what abundance simply means is that whatever you're courageous enough and intelligent enough to focus on, you have the opportunity to create. What you focus on, you find. What you focus on grows. What you focus on seems real, and ultimately what you focus on, you become. When you're dealing with a mind with infinite capability, everything is on the table. Everything is on the table. Any and everything that you want to create. Let's start right now. Let's prove it right now. And where we take your mind, your body, your members, your customers, this company, right? And we just start there. Let's just practice with Yoli. Let's practice taking this baby to the next level. But I need your focus to do so. I love you guys. You're amazing. Keep going. Keep building that muscle. And I'll see you really soon. Bye-bye, everyone.